Uh, good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to others. We're back here again. We're having the barbershop talk afterwards. Do not forget to hit that like button, to share and subscribe to the Oaken. Gonna wait here for Lawrence. Lawrence, I sent the invite in the email where we come up here and we could talk about it. I sent you the link in the mail in your email. But good afternoon, everyone. I'll put it here in the chat. What's good? No, what's good? No. And Lawrence, we gotta start getting this together, man. You know, my streams start around the same time every time, man. You gotta have this tea ready, man. You gotta have your tea ready, man. But laundry day. Yeah, I need to do something too. I may do mine tomorrow. No, it's been cloudy and raining the past few days. So I don't know. I may do mine tomorrow, man. I've been chilling. Been off YouTube here for a while. I've been listening, but I haven't been on too many streams. Um, because it gets kind of mundane, the same old stuff after a while. But like we have this barbershop talk, and after the study on the topic, which was how we should pray, and of course I went into Matthew chapter 6 verses 5 through 15 on that, on how basically it shows how we should do so, and the reasons for doing things that way. Uh, I mean, we've got so many people who show themselves to try to be holier than now. Brother Lawrence, what's good? What's good? What's good?
Yeah, I had my portables on, man. I heard that joke about the tea.
Yeah, yeah, man. You know what time I start every time. I've been like clockwork.
I know, but here's the funny thing. I was doing two things at the same time. I was
I
talking to
know it.
Marco on Aegon, but my my daughter brought me lunch. She
Oh,
brought me Thai food, and when she handed me the food, she put it on a plate and she brought the food to me, and she handed me a letter. Um, uh, she's been invited to study at the University of York in England.
oh, okay. Wow.
Now how the hell is that a good day to start?
Yeah, right, right. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Then I totally lost track of time, and then on top of that, I got the notification for the barbershop, but I didn't get the notification for the other stream.
Oh, really?
Um,
Wow.
yeah, as a matter of fact, if you play back Aegon's thing, you hear them. You'll hear me in there talking about, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah,
He-
I
like
had
he
already
started the
muted
stream.
it.
Yeah, he just started the stream. I gotta go. They started laughing, but anyway, going to the subject, and thank you very much for letting me have that diatribe.
No, you good.
But
You good. No, you good.
but going back to the teaching you did a minute ago, I'm with New. It seems like the whole point of anything nowadays is just straight up virtual signal.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's like who can pray the loudest, who can pray the longest, and etc. and so on, trying to impress others by what they do. And then you see it everywhere. You see it on LinkedIn, you see it on Facebook, you'll see it in chats, you'll see it in your phone conversations, you'll see people doing it inside churches. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I agree.
and I think they get confused between the two requirements that was given. The first requirement is what you said in the other broadcast about praying alone to the Father and etc. and so on. I think they get that part confused with the one about three or more being joined together. There he'll be in the midst.
I don't think they get it confused at all. I just
Okay.
think you know what? The number one thing I think it is that human beings are just full of shit. To
Oh
get
well, yeah. Well,
straight to simplify it.
yeah, that's a given. But yeah,
I think it's just as simple as that. That and the other thing is that people have especially religious people, when it talks about somebody, I have to go back to it. I know I've done a stream on it before about people wanting to pick that sawdust out of someone else's eye when they got a plank, they got a whole board in front of their own face,
yeah, yeah. I
that
remember
they
that.
don't see, that they don't want to see, rather.
Yeah. I remember that one. I do remember that one.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe
you know,
that's in Matthew too. But you
yeah.
can check out one of my other streams where I did that one. But go ahead, Brother Lawrence.
Oh no, you're fine. It's just that it's really insane because, like I said, you call yourself falling under the authority of
Mm,
of of the Most High, God, six for whatever name you want to give him, Allah, but you call
right.
yourself falling under the authority of him, and yet you do everything contrary to what he asked you to. And
Ooh.
that thing about praying is key. At least to me. This is
Mm-hmm.
just my interpretation. It's key to me because the praying is not just about getting down and asking for some stuff.
Yeah.
It's about building a relationship with him. It's about having conversations with him. Because like me myself, I'll find myself throughout the day, yeah, just for no reason, man. I'll just get down. I'll just have a conversation with him. It don't always have to be about asking for something or being saved or anything like that. It's just he wants that relationship. That's why he wants you to talk to him. It would be no different than if you had uh, uh, a flesh and blood physical father. When you need to talk to him, you don't go through all these fancy measures. You go, hey, dad, can I talk to you for a minute? And you go sit in a room and you have that conversation. That's what he wants with us, with him.
Right.
So all that elaborate stuff of using multiple words and, you know, $5 word and 2 cent sentences or 50 minutes to talk about something that only takes three.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
Man, I can remember countless times where you had people stand up and pray. And man, you got to sit down because these folks want to pray 20 minutes and they don't repeat the same stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, the 4 or 5 times, it's like, my God, I mean, what's the point in repeating the same thing over and over again just to be talking? Whatever, I mean, it's already known. It's already known what you want to say. Just go ahead and get to it and get it over with. I mean, you praying any longer, repeating the stuff ain't gonna make nothing, come into fruition just because you repeating over it.
Hmm. Hmm. And the unfortunate part is that the side effect of bleed over of that is by them doing it in prayer, they transfer that same theory and concept over into everything else. Um,
Yes.
I'm sure every last one of us, in some shape, form, or fashion, has been in church, and we've seen older women who just jump up and just start dancing around and throwing their bodies everywhere, yada yada, talking about I got the Holy Ghost. I mean, that's just too much. This is, and then you get her to sit down, and then she sits there for like a minute, and then she jumps right back up and she starts all over again. That's too much.
Right,
That's the,
right.
and it just carries over into everything else. Then when you want to do something for charity, instead of just doing something for charity, you want to tell everybody what you did. Um, like it's just a bleed over. Yeah, I mean, you just want to let it all out there, and then you want to like again, going back to new, like he said, the virtual signaling, because that's really all it is. When you get down to the nitty gritty of it, you want to seem like you're the more pious person because you can pray the longest. You want to seem to be the more pious person because you've done more for a charity. It just bleeds over into everyday daily life, and and it's unfortunate because you'll find that a lot of people um, don't. Don't come to an understanding that they're doing more damage to themselves than they are goodwill.
Uh got you.
Hey, Savage, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man? What's going on? Hold on. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes I'm not sure if they really even care about, whether they're giving about that goodwill aspect, that you just mentioned about whether they're doing themselves any more good. Um, I think that it's just lost on them. To be honest, I think they've got their head in the clouds or that plank in front of their eyes so much they can't see any reason to anything, and not any good reason anyway.
hmm hmm Yeah, yeah, I would agree. So I guess the question becomes is knowing the issue, what would be the answer in solving it? And the only answer to me is exactly what was said in scripture. You know,
Right,
do it privately. I mean, there's a specific moment in there where he said, "Walk into your closet if you have to, or a separate room, or something like that." Um, but yeah, yeah, because my conversation with him should be of no one's concern or business, and the same thing in reverse to me.
got you. Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, my doing prayers in that fashion in front of an entire room of people or congregation, one, it's not something you're supposed to do. But more
right,
importantly, how will he ever take me seriously if I'm putting on airs for the public instead of being honest with him? Does
right,
that make sense?
right. Yeah, and that's why I said that to be honest, in my I guess explanation afterwards, I said it not only applies just to prayer, but in everything. I mean that we do anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, yeah, and and also I think the other part of that too that I thought was pretty important. What I tried to point out was that, and uh, forgiveness. It wasn't for the person who wronged us. It was for ourselves because of the simple fact, holding on, to that hatred and pain and anger. It only hurts you and damages you in the end.
hmm hmm Yeah, absolutely. And I believe I've said these words before on one of your streams. You know, he gave us the three of the most powerful weapons known to man. You know, I love
Yeah.
you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Right. Right. Right.
Those three phrases alone have changed the course of history. Seriously.
Ah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Um. But yeah, I thought. But I wanted to break those down. Um. That lesson, well, I guess from the charitable aspect of it last week to this part of it. I was like, I feel like it'd be better if I just kind of broke that down and did a two-parter on that basic scripture passage there, and because I felt there was a lot to be taken from each. There was enough meat in those uh, in that content to be able to make to separate it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. Yeah, I get that. And truth be told, look, it to me in my mind, any passage you choose is worthy of being broken down into multiple parts because there's so much to see, not just the surface
Okay,
of what you read, but the hidden meaning behind a lot of it. You
got
know,
you.
because as he said himself, there are certain things he says in a certain way with parables that is only for those who have eyes to see and who have ears to
Got you.
hear. And then like I said, it breaks down into so many different variations and so many different aspects from the mental to the physical to the spiritual and everything else in between. So yeah, I
Right,
mean,
right.
to me in my mind, every passage should be done in more than one uh, one shot. That's just me.
Got you. Yeah, and
So,
but yeah, yeah, it can be done. I just want to. I think people make things more complex than it has to be, and that's why I wanted to do something on it, especially when it talked about being the more holier than our people, those people, that do so.
Well, what would you think is the motivating factor
Yeah.
behind them being that way, though? I guess is the question.
Ego. Ego. Hey,
Yeah,
I'll be right
yeah.
back. I gotta run real quick. I'm gonna mute him.
All right, Savage.
What's
What's
up?
going on, brother? What's going on, brother?
Not much. Just getting ready for work.
I haven't seen you since the last stream. What was that? Like a week and a half ago?
Something like that.
Yeah. How's it been going since then?
It's going.
All right. I saw you uploaded like 3 videos, so I'm gonna check them out later. Especially that one with the dude with the Scott Weiner. Yeah, I definitely want to check that one out.
Yeah, it just
He
goes
makes
to
me
show.
nervous.
Well, it just goes to show that what Q was talking about's right. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're making me nervous. Making me nervous. Very nervous. So what do you have on this prayer thing?
In what way?
No, just in general what we're talking about. No particular thing. Just your thoughts on it. Because I saw you agreed in the aspect of you're not supposed to be praying in public. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be praying in public, and also a whole lot of the reason that people repeat themselves when they pray is because that's just low intelligence of repeating yourself. But the when it comes to the Holy Ghost or it comes to tongues, that's not of God. In this time period that we're in, there is not supposed to be any tongues or Holy Ghost catching you or any of that shit. That's a perversion.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? My bad. I had to leave for a minute there, drinking a whole lot of this water, changing stuff, so it's got me running.
Nah, you good. You good. Hey, I'm gonna if it's all right, I'm gonna drop Savage's channel link in.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
Cool.
I got it queued up. I just wanted to check first.
Cool. No, you good. You good. Go ahead. But man, it's good to have him back in here. How you doing, man?
I'm all right.
But yeah, I think it's I think it was something that was important to kind of bring up. Because I mean, you have a lot of these people doing it. And we should always strive to not be like those hypocrites. Because I think, I mean, simply put, people doing all that repeating. I actually think a lot of these people actually think if they keep, if they keep repeating and going over it, that it's actually like it's gonna actually make it happen or come any faster. Doesn't it's not reality.
Yeah. Well, I
So
know
a lot of
Savage
that-
was saying something. No, I'm sorry.
A lot of-
Savage. Go ahead.
a lot of that stuff is like if you look at young Pharaoh and you look at a lot of these people that talk about how the universe works and it's all new age. Now there is some truth and validity in the fact that your brain does project your reality. So the whole idea of positive thinking or putting out good vibes and whatnot, in some levels that's true, because the reality that we live in is not like my reality is not the same as your reality. Like we're in the same space, but the way that our brain fills in that information is not true to each other. It's only true to ourselves. But that's new age thinking that's perverting the word of the Lord. And a lot of that new age shit is getting into a lot of churches and the way that things are taught. Like if you look at Kanye West has a whole lot of Christian teachings, but it's a lot of new age shit that's inside of it. It's just a way to get people away from the Lord. That's all anything that you see is these days.
I really don't think it's a new way of thinking. That aspect of that mental. Here's the thing. I actually covered what it is on My God Is Not a Genie video. And and basically it's like, to quote my favorite character in anime, which is Aizen, he says to Ichigo, the protagonist, he said, "This world was never about truth or lies. There are only hard facts. Despite that, everyone who exists in this world mistakenly believes that only facts that are favorable to them are truths. They know no other way to live, but for the powerless who make up most of the world, facts that act against them are the only truths." I think that the issue is that first part when he says, despite that everyone who exists in this world mistakenly believes that only the facts that are favorable to them are truths. I think that is the problem. I think it's been going on since dawn of time.
Well, no, you're right. New Age teaching is just old world teaching, but to most people, if you say New Age teaching, then they're gonna understand what you're talking about specifically, because New Age teaching has been being taught mainly from like the 90s on as being monetized and packaged as New Age teaching. Gotcha. I only use that term so that people can relate to what that is, because all it really is hidden knowledge. It's the same hidden schools of knowledge that have been being taught since Babylon, but most people don't realize what those teachings are, or how those relate to religion, or how those things relate to any of the things that we see in life. Just like if I was to talk about the Sumerians, most people aren't going to know what the Sumerians knew or what they were teaching or what their writings were about. But when I say New Age teaching, people are going to understand that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you.
And it actually goes back a little bit. Well, I mean, I know you said 90s, Savage, but I remember it being monetized in the 80s, because there were classes you could take to be a Rosicrucian, and all those others. There was a book publisher, Llewellyn, if I remember correctly, from England. They were publishing books on a regular on every type of New Age teaching. So that's been going for a minute. As a matter of fact, I would dare say maybe a little bit in the 70s when they kicked off with the with occult writings and books, and then it bled into I would go back as far as the 70s on that, because I remember some books in that manner.
Oh wow, that's interesting right there.
Yeah, and I believe the book publisher Llewellyn is still around.
Oh wow. But
yeah, so the New Age, you're right. The New Age movement started in the 1970s.
Okay.
It spread throughout the occult and the metaphysical religious communities in the 1970s and the 80s. It looked forward to a new age of love and light and offered a foretaste of the coming era through people's transformation and healing.
Yep. Like I said, I was just going off what I remember growing up, because I remember in the 70s it got real busy with it. That's when you started seeing more movies and more books by Stephen King. Even though he was doing fiction, but you can tell he was influenced by reading some of those books. Then the Golden Dawn books started coming out. That's where Golden Dawn is that group Aleister Crowley used to be part of. And so on and so forth. Yeah. And met a couple of people who practiced it over the years as well. So.
Wow. I can't say I really know that. But yeah, I think I think it's really important. So I mean, it's one thing, I guess, having an actual group prayer, but when you have people that, make a habit, of doing this, and no matter wherever, I think that's another, kind of difference in it whenever, they're doing this just to have that image of, so somebody can look to say, oh, that right there, that's a good example. That's a good follower. You can look at them and tell just by them doing this that they're, they're of God. But no, when the whole point of them doing this and having themselves out there to be seen is to have that to try and get that recognition, not they're not just doing something, but because they felt like it need to be done. They're doing this to have that spotlight on them. It's all in vanity.
Well, here's a question though. I mean,
Okay.
in all fairness, but if they're doing that in that fashion, and they're doing it in a way that doesn't fulfill the requirements by the Most High Himself, then for all intents and purposes, they're not godly people.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. But they're doing it so they want to appear as such. I mean, let's be honest, especially in this Western world, appearances are everything to people.
Hmm. Yeah, which is something
So
else He said not to be concerned about.
yes,
Be in the world, but not
but
of it.
not all. Yes, exactly. But I mean, how many people, how many people actually just want to be in the world and not of it? I mean,
Well,
that's
I know who we have here right now fits that, but yeah, but
and
yeah,
and don't get it twisted. I mean, that's something that people we're all going to struggle with at some point, if not every day. I mean, as far as certain aspects of it, anyway.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a difficult thing, and again, the same way we talk about children, the same thing applies to us as adults. We're getting bombarded with it 24 hours a day from every direction.
Exactly. Every
You
direction.
know, yeah. I mean, unless you go like, and I'm talking about literally 100% off the grid. I mean, there's no way. If it's not
Right.
your TV, if it's not your TV, it's your phone. If it's not your phone, it's your friends or associates who wants to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just everywhere. Commercials, TV shows, it's radio. It's just everywhere. Um, so it's difficult. But like I said, I mean, for me, for those people who do that and go that direction, I just look at them as claiming
Right.
claiming being a godly people, but acting like that and doing that, they're not.
Right. No.
Um, so I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, we get slack for stuff we do as well.
Right.
Um, but our stuff, and I'm not making an excuse for it, but our stuff is generally small change, habits that need to be worked on for a little bit more discipline. But literally going out of our way to do all that like they do, I'd like to believe we're not on that same path or level or whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I mean, I'll pray. Like I said earlier, for no reason, I'll just stop in a moment's hesitation just because I want to talk to him. I don't, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I do know I make sure I'm not doing that for a whole bunch of people to watch me. There's no point in that.
Gotcha.
I'm talking to him. I'm not having a business meeting. You know what I mean?
Right. And for me personally, I think how I build that relationship and that understanding, I build it more so through actually for me as far as getting in the book and understanding and analyzing things. That way I can make better decisions in my everyday life because, hey, like it said here, information without application ain't worth, it ain't worth a damn.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. Whether it's scripture or whether it's scripturally or secularly, yeah, the answer is the same.
Yeah.
The answer is most definitely the same. But so I guess it's interesting because you got to ask yourself, do you take time to teach people how to do it properly? But then again, you ask yourself, if they're godly people and they're reading the same book you're reading, why do you have to teach them? The information is already there. They should know.
Mm. But to do so would be to imply that equality is real, and equality isn't because all people. I mean, we're not equal.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
There are people. There are people that are not going to be able to process that information, and then there are people that can process it, and then are going to put it back out there in a lie. That way, they can manipulate and control. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you got people that know that this information is a weapon to control and manipulate the minds of the ignorant and those people who cannot learn anymore, who mentally are on a certain level and they can't get to a next one because this is as far as they're able to go, and they need other people to actually help and guide them.
Well,
So
that goes
they're
back
going to
to what,
use it.
well, that goes back to what Savage was saying about low intelligence.
Yeah.
But it's not just low intelligence. It's not just that. As humans, we want to be led. It's in our DNA to be led. So not everyone can be a not everyone can be a leader.
True.
And with that being said, you have the indoctrination of the imitation of God at all aspects of your life. That the sweetest truths are always not this. They're not the truth. And you have so many people that are fed this crap that these next lies go down just as easy as the other lies they were being told. So what it comes down to is not everyone can be saved. Not everyone is willing to look. Like it says, if you seek, you shall find. People are getting caught up in not seeking. So you have the Catholic Church who's been teaching the same crap forever, and my brother-in-law is a Catholic, and he's raising his kids, and my wife, they're all Catholics. And I brought it up to his attention about what the Catholics do and how their teachings are wrong. And it's so ingrained in who he is, the person and his family, that they don't want to see a difference. They don't want to see anything. I'm just the crazy uncle. So it's just what it comes down to. Some people living in their being comfortable, they like living in that bubble.
Well, like I've said many a times before, and I'll keep saying it until the day I leave. Not everybody can be saved, and not everybody should be saved. So it's
not everybody's going to be anyway.
Yeah, that's facts. yeah, that's facts. But as far as it goes for us as individuals, trying to get people to understand, trying to get them to come the other direction, we can only do exactly as Scripture says. We say they either accept it or they don't. The only thing we can do is knock the sand off our feet and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So in that respect, that's really all we can do. But again, at the end of the day, our responsibility is not to get somebody into heaven or whatever it is you want to call it. I mean, we can't. We can only take care of ourselves. That's all we can do. I mean, we can share the knowledge, and what they do with it is on them.
Right.
Just like the whole idea of the rapture is being taught to mislead people. A lot of that's why I don't really do organized religion. Organized religion is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's just to get the people led away from reality. And the reason that things are manipulated the way they are is because everything has to mimic God. They have to do the inversion of what God does.
And another thing too, also to point out to what you were bringing up, I gotta thank oh my gosh, Spiritual Hope for this. That all of these institutions, especially your major ones, the one thing about them is they all get that government tax credit for them. I forgot what it's called. It's C something.
501c3.
Yeah, exactly. 501c3. So because of laws and because of feminism, they are relegated to doing this. They're relegated to having to put out a message that's wanted to be heard for the benefit of this movement, and for their benefit, and the simple fact that these people are being looked at in a certain light when the truth is it's false. And so whenever they take this money, they take these benefits from the government, they come under their jurisdiction, they come under their laws and rules.
Yeah, but even with that being said, most churches, I don't know if you noticed, but in the last 10 years, the Catholic Church has actually been taking in all churches underneath its umbrella. So even without it being about the government, you don't have to have the government involved in this for you to understand that the Catholic Church is pulling the churches in under its wing. So by them doing that, they're having to take orders from the Catholic churches, and that is synagogue of Satan. So it really doesn't matter, because it's all going to go get pushed back to the same thing.
Yes, I got
So
you. And that too would be another form of government in reality. I mean, them coming under them.
Well, it's theocracy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's I mean, by the time you start pulling in all the other churches under one overall church with a head, which would be the Pope, I mean, at the end of the day, you're building a theocracy. I mean, that's what it is.
But guys, I gotta get off here.
Okay.
It was great to be on here for a minute. I'm about to go to work. I saw you go live, and I just wanted to jump in for a minute.
Cool.
I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Oh, it was good to see you, man.
You got my email now, so hey, you can hit me up.
I will definitely hit you up.
All right.
Later, man. You still have mine. All right.
Be safe.
I do have yours.
All right, cool.
Peace.
But those were some good points he threw out there.
Yeah. Very
good
points. Very good points.
But overall, yeah, I mean that's really what we got here. It's a combination of what all three of us said. The church is coming under one wing, what you're talking about with the 501c3, and what I'm talking about with the theocracy. It's different aspects of the same thing, because it's all going to lead together.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't actually even. To me, it's all still together because of the simple fact. I mean, when you look at throughout history, when you look at how the church has tried to it wants to be a form of government. It always had. I mean, it's always wanted to control and rule things. So, I mean, to me, I don't even try and separate them. I think it's the same in one sense, anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at something Hypocrisy wrote. Yo, man, me and Azen go back a ways with Savage. we go back a ways with Savage. Savage is always welcome, man. That's our boy. We go back a ways with him. I think as a matter of fact, I think you and I were the first two people to subscribe to his channel, if I remember correctly.
Oh well, if we weren't, I mean, we were definitely early in there. Okay, we were definitely early in, and
it was you, then it was me, then it was MTR.
Okay, well, I didn't know. Well, MTR might have been first, being they started off a lot together, as far as passing back information and doing all that. I don't know, but we were right there in the top 5. But anyways, Savage has a lot of valid points, and it would be foolish to exclude someone based on their skin color or the fact they got tattoos on actual valid truths. It's something I don't like doing. I like all right, new. I like to include someone who actually brings out valid truths and statements. I like someone who will, and poke the bear. I like someone who will poke the bear whenever they're doing it with truth, and it's so for the purpose of helping us to think about things in a better way.
Oh yeah. And then at the end of the day, truth should never be excluded just by the package it came in.
Right. And
I mean, realistically speaking, because I can sit here and I can say anything and everything I want about dealing with women, but I tell you what, if one of them says a truth, I can't deny that truth.
Right, exactly. And hypocrisy, just for everyone, look, I don't even really consider, even though I guess I made a name for myself in this so-called space. People, learn about me through it, but I don't consider what I do here actually a part of this space. It's a part of YouTube, but this so-called manosphere, as I like to really call it, the niggosphere. I don't consider myself a part of it or my content a part of that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I like about your channel and fasting, because I mean, look, we've got people who, Catholic, Baptist, Hebrew Israelite, atheists, whatever have you made, but at the end of the day, there can be no argument that the truths in whichever version of the book you read has some solid foundations for peaceful coexistence. They do. And how to go through life and deal with life appropriately as well as with each other. So to exclude people is always a bad thing, especially in the manosphere. Because I think that's one of the most important things about being men, to be able to come together and even in disagreement, share our thoughts, our fears, our hopes, our dreams, etc., and so on. Because it builds a better man. And there's variations of things that you get to see that you would never have gotten if you didn't have that difference of viewpoint from someone else who's not in the same bubble as you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, like I said, for me. Oh, go ahead.
And that's one of the sorrows I have with what I've seen of late. So but yeah, I've been doing some hard thinking on the manosphere a lot. Some good, some bad, but I've been doing some heavy thinking.
Yeah, I got it. I understand, and which is why I think it's good for everyone to be able to take those breaks, from the same old mundane crap, and just come back to content that's that's you find more rewarding and better for your sanity, because the same old crap that is going on here. It's nuts, and it can be bad.
Yeah.
It can be bad.
Well, something's wrong when you notice a lot of us have been making comments about we've stepped back for a week or two because we needed a break. And I've heard that from from people low to high within the sphere. I've heard people say it on MOT's channel. I've heard people say it on Game Changers channel. I mean, I've said it. It's just getting a little heavy.
Right.
And that's when you it's starting to it's going sideways. It's turning sour, and that's not the point.
Right. Right.
So should always be a space that even if you think it's the silliest, the most foolish thing that you could possibly say or think, you should be safe in a space where men don't judge you for that. Because if it's how you feel, it's how you feel, regardless of what any of us may think.
Right. Right.
And that's in that respect is somewhat similar to the teaching you were doing today about prayer. Because there's the type that do it properly by going privately and talking to the Most High Himself, and then you have the ones who are sitting out there and they're making a spectacle of it. Same thing can be applied in the manosphere. You have those of us who are sitting here and trying to help brothers get on the path or the direction they need to go, and then you have the other ones who are just here to make noise and be seen. Yeah. So
gotcha. Here's a question to you. Here's a question to you from Hypocrisy.
When will people address the anti-Jewish narrative in this space coming from some Israelites and Black people in general that spew white nationalistic rhetoric? Wow, that's a solid question. That's a solid question. Yeah, I know personally speaking, what's coming from Hebrew Israelites to Jews and all people who are not Hebrew Israelites is something I've mentioned multiple times that I do not agree with at all. And I dare say on that last interview you did, Azen, with Black Ram, he would agree with me. As far as it goes for addressing it, I don't know how you would want it addressed, or in what fashion you want it addressed. Are you talking about like someone creating a channel and literally challenging it and making it an open conversation for people to come in for? Or Or are you talking about setting up some kind of group that literally goes out there and challenges them face to face and so on and so forth? Because there's so many different ways to challenge. And I'm not trying to avoid your question. I'm just trying to make sure I understand specifically what you're asking.
I think the one thing that he's asking is the simple fact that, you know, they spew they'll say points, but every point that they make, it comes from the King James version of the Bible that they're reading, which is the white man's, what you want to say, it is the white, which is the white man's adaptation from the originals. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. I'm sorry, I was reading what he had typed down below.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
um, um, I mean, expecting it to be called out, absolutely. I don't
And
disagree
I'll
with
be
that.
right back.
Yeah. Having it being called out at every opportunity. No, I agree with you 100% on that. I think it should be. And as far as it goes for your last statement about reverse racism coming from blacks that's hypocritical, I agree wholeheartedly on that. And I've said that as much on a couple of streams. Um, like the saying goes, "Oh, like how our oppressors we become." So, in that respect, it's a foolish thing. Um, myself personally speaking, the reason I stay away from a lot of Hebrew Israelites is because I listen to what they say about Jewish people and et cetera and so on, and that's not something I can co-sign. Not with the mother I have. You see, it's the same thing when black people sit around and talk about white people and not being able to do this. I can't do that either because I have my two oldest daughters. Their mother is white. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, I can't co-sign on any of that. I can't be part of it. So I pretty much, if not outright, stay away from all of it. So I mean, again, like I said, whatever it's in my presence, I haven't. I've had my piece. I've had my say to whoever I'm talking to. But as far as it goes for being in a stream, unless I miss something, I haven't seen that. I mean, I'm sure you have, but I'm just saying I haven't. Not in any streams I've been in so far. Even the Hebrew Israelites that I deal with, like Black Ram 313 and a couple of other guys, I've never heard them talk that way. I had the only time I've seen that is when you start talking about camps, like the guys who are on the corners in New York, or the ones who dress up like it's cosplay convention time. What you I think it's UICI. It's some kind of camp. HOI. All that. I don't deal with them. So I've never had that issue. Um, but calling it out when it's in front of me, I always do that, regardless. I don't care if it's Catholic, Jewish, Israelite, six half for a dozen. I don't care if it's black, white, Spanish, Asian, six half for a dozen. That's just me. That's how I am. Um, as far as it goes for what you just wrote, as an Israeli, it almost unnecessary for people like us. You know, I got to be honest with you, man. I get that. I totally get that because I've been there for a while myself where I didn't deal with black people at all. It was just too damn much. It was just too damn much. Everything was against them. Everybody was racist. Even the person who's actually sitting there trying to help you up off the ground has got to be racist because he helped you. I mean, it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. Um, I just do my best not to be around people like that, and I've been pretty damn successful for the last 10, 15 years of weeding people like that out altogether. Because as soon as I notice it, I'm out. I'm just out. I don't have time for it, and I don't want to argue with them about it because I'm not going to change their minds. That's something else I had to learn. Took me a long time to learn. Sometimes there's just some people you cannot debate with. Some people you cannot explain it to. Some people you cannot make understand what they're doing is wrong because they're very happy living in that space. Um, and if that's the case, then more power to them. But if I see you harassing somebody in my presence, or you're talking nonsense in my presence, I'm going to call you out right there on the spot. So I don't know if that answered. I don't know if that was the answer you was looking for, or if that helped. I don't know. Um, but yeah, there need to be more people. There need to be more people calling it out. But like I said, we've seen this. We've seen this forever, man. Whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's black people should be slaves because of what happened with Ham. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just insane. It's just insane. Like I said, the only thing I do is I try to surround myself with people that I can have conversations with, be cool with, but even when we disagree, as long as we're respectful and we're okay, that's the best I got. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I think I rambled a little bit, but I like I said, I just don't know how to people who feel psychologically and sociopolitically disempowered are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. Those people in this space fail to realize that it's their major issue. It's one. I think it's one of many major issues, to be honest with you. I don't know. You want to say something on that, Azen, before I go?
I think the truth. There is a socio-politically disempowered truth to things here in this country, but the other thing that I want to, the psychological thing, is basically a lack of accountability. That's what everything goes back to me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
And basically, until if you're not going to get that under wraps, the socio-politically disempowered aspect doesn't even really matter. It matters, but it's not going to hold any weight, and because you're not changing yourself, you're not trying to even change the culture. It's not going to do any good.
Because like with the Hebrew Israelite thing, here's my biggest issue. Here's my biggest issue. If I put all my cards on the table and I just say it for what it is, it comes down to this. Even with me believing that black people, and not all black people, are the chosen of the Most High, that still gives me no right to be disrespectful to a white person, an Asian person, a Spanish person, a Jewish person. It gives me no right, regardless of what I believe. It gives me no right whatsoever, because if I'm sitting there and I'm spewing hate to say a white person, Esau or whatever they like to call him, if I'm sitting there and I'm spitting out hatred towards that person, how do I know that's not a person the Most High Himself has chosen to help with what's coming, and I'm being disrespectful to him? See, I don't get to count his people. None of us do. So I'm not one to sit there and point them out and say that they're the ones who are going to go to hell or be handmaidens and slaves. That's not my place. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
And that's why I have trouble with the guys on the street corner and the camps and stuff like that. Because if you call yourself the chosen people of the Most High, you have to carry yourself in a certain way with certain standards. Okay, and that's not how you do it. At least not to me. Now, if the Most High were to come down here and personally tell me I got it wrong, then I'll adjust accordingly. But so far, He hasn't done that, so I think I'm okay.
Gotcha.
But me standing on the street corner telling every Asian person that they're going to hell and that your wives are going to be my bed wenches, what is the point of that? I mean, what is that? I mean, seriously, what does that even serve on the principle of you being the chosen people and what's coming to you for living the right life? That serves no purpose to me. I can't wrap my brain around that, which is why I have a hard time with them.
And to interject, pretty much, to be honest, they're pretty much, most of them, not living the right life. And also, I mean, and to make a point to that is the simple fact of Jesus not even wanting to go back home. He refused to go home because they did not want to actually receive his message. They didn't want to receive the truth.
And that says a lot. And that's why when I talk about the guys on the corner, you've heard me say this many a times. To me, they're just Pharisees. They want to go line by line in that book, and they want to point out all these rules and regulations for people to follow and all that good stuff. But if you notice, everything they're requiring everybody else to do, they're not doing. You know, I mean, to me, that comes across as a Pharisee. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I got it wrong, but that's how I look at them. And yes,
No.
hypocrisy. I've been called a beta Jew myself. I've had it as well. I get it.
But yeah, I think it all goes to that, which is why yeah, I mean, even when it goes in there, it tells the book tells you it doesn't matter which one you read. That I mean, you have no power to put anybody in heaven or hell. This is
Exactly.
this is it's a father who does it, and ultimately, it's a father who ultimately does it. But you have someone who will stand in your corner in Jesus, you know, to say, hey, you know what, they've had faults, they messed up here and there, but I know them ultimately, and they've proven something to me. So,
Yeah.
it's between those two that you're going to get anywhere. You're not getting anywhere on the power of your own.
Yeah.
So, telling someone that they're going to hell, you have no right because you don't have the authority to be able to do so.
And one, you don't have the authority, and two, you're missing a lot of the stuff you're claiming you're reading, because it's been stated in multiple aspects, Old and New Testament. When it's all said and done, there will be nations who will graft on to his chosen people. Okay.
Mm.
Now, if they're grafted on, that means they're allowed in to some degree. Whatever degree that's going to be is up to the Most High. I'm not going to get into all that. But here's the thing. If he's going to allow certain nations to be grafted in, then how are you going to sit there and tell them they have no place?
Mm.
I mean, think about that. You know, there will be nations that will graft to his people upon his return. But yet you're sitting there and telling every single nation that comes across your path they're going to hell. I mean, you're literally challenging the very authority of the book you're reading. I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're basically living in a life that says it's full of shit. So basically, you are.
Yeah,
uh, so
yeah,
basically, you are, and
you know. But it's just weird. And like I said, I look, if that's their theory and that's their purpose for their existence, then have at it. Because the same thing is going to apply to them that applies to me. They're going to have to answer for their choices.
mm. Which is why I think, which is no, I don't think, which is why I understand and get the hypocrisy of these people is what drives other people away from um this from a spiritual aspect of life. Which is why
Exactly.
I wanted to create this channel to show the practicalness that's never talked about, the pragmatic aspects of this that you can
Yeah.
apply to your everyday life to show, hey,
Yeah.
there's a lot
Exactly.
of validity here.
I mean, because let's be honest about something. My mother is 4'10", 4'10", 4'10", and a half, blonde haired, blue eyes, from Massachusetts. Do them idiots on that corner really think I'm gonna let them come in there and do some shit like that to my mom? Seriously?
Mm,
Seriously. Let's think about this for a minute. You really think that's gonna happen? Then what does that do? Because I got two older daughter who are half white. You think I'm gonna let you come in here and put your hands on them? Seriously?
right.
I mean, if you just take a moment to think about what you're saying, you'll understand the absurdity of it.
Uh, they don't really think, nor do they actually even care.
It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
I don't know. For me, I guess it's not mind-boggling because, to be honest, I've been at a point in my life for a while where I don't really expect much from people in general. um, it's crazy, um, but it is what it is. I really just don't expect much until I see much. I have to, which the Bible says, you're supposed to try them. You're supposed to uh, analyze and see that they actually are what they claim to be, and they're doing what they claim to be. And that's why I said, I wanted to bring this content. I want to do this. This channel was about bringing the pragmatic and scientific aspects of this book out. Even though, I can't, I don't have the information and the language skills, that you and Hypocrisy have had to be able to study these other books. But from what I gather from the book, I do know I could still say, I'm still miles apart from a lot of the bull that, they teach to these two people. And I try, and that's not me trying to say I'm better than anybody, but the one thing about me is that I wanted to be able to know this information for myself. That way somebody could not come along and lead me down this bull.
Well, yeah,
that way
exactly.
I would know. And I can say that I have been blessed genetically on a mental level to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, using myself like using myself in Hypocrisy, for example. Okay, there are things that my mom taught me growing up concerning the Jewish faith and all that good stuff. She never forced it on me, but she did leave me the opportunity to learn what I wanted. Now, realistically speaking, over the years, I have forgotten far more than I learned, and that's facts. That's just truth. Because being a black guy raised by a Jewish family is not exactly something you run into all the time to be able to have conversations with people who understand your point of view. So I mean, I forgot a lot of my teachings. I did. I don't have any shame in admitting that. It is what it is. So when you have someone like myself and Hypocrisy have a conversation, Hypocrisy doesn't bother me.
Mm.
Whether I agree with him or disagree with him is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that this man has been doing it a lot longer and a lot better than I have. So yeah, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen. And like I said, even if I don't agree with it, it doesn't make a difference. He's earned the right to be heard.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And also, I've learned a lot in how my approach and my analyzation of how I look at the information in this Bible to adapt it to make me be able to think outside of that bubble, outside of that box that we're taught to think in, not just from other spiritual people, but from non-spiritual or those who haven't, who are agnostic. I've learned a lot to be able to apply from them to be able to apply it here, in that aspect as well too.
Exactly.
I mean,
I'm not trying to have nobody call Helen Koski and tell her about her baby brown-eyed boy acting a fool out here representing her. You understand what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like I said, I got my issues with women, but that's my mom. Seriously, that's my mom. Gotcha. I'm not going to embarrass her like that. I'm just not going to.
Right. But we're at an hour and 3 minutes. I think we've hashed out, I had a good barbershop talk over everything here. I think it's been a good one, and I think I'm.
And I hope Hypocrisy. I hope I answered your stuff appropriately or well enough.
I think you probably did. He hadn't made any more comments, so I think you probably did. Got anything else you want to add before I close this barbershop down, Brother Lawrence?
Be kind to each other, be patient with each other, and as always, men first.
All right. And I just want to say I'm be looking at doing some more and different content. I'll probably end up starting up a third channel for that, maybe. But I probably will, but I'll probably kind of use this one to kind of get that content going there. And I got to look into that more and start doing that. And I just want to have some content fun.
I'm sorry.
What's
sorry.
up?
Did you see it? No, Epoxy just typed it. Did you see that? I'm sorry. He made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, it is funny. But
it just made me laugh out loud. I'm sorry. I'm still because you're in the middle of stuff. I'm sorry.
It's good. But no, I plan to bring on some content. I plan to. There's a lot of content creators in YouTube who actually do comedy skits, and I plan on reviewing some of those episodes and doing stuff here, to to bring something different and more fun than the mundane, depressing, same old stuff all the time. So I'm gonna get into doing that, and you know, I think having some fun, and maybe hopefully I'll be able to get some of those and do some interviews on that too. I think that would be fun and different.
Yeah, because to me, yeah. I was saying I agree with you, because to me, there's only three things. There's only three things we need right now. We need channels where we can go through for spiritual fulfillment. We need channels where we can just go relax and have fun and be goofy. And then we need channels that are actually teaching brothers how to get their purpose on, and not just talk about it, but show them how to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Those three things is what we need. The Pookies, Ray Rays, chicks, nah. We need to be done, because we got work to do, and we got a limited amount of time to do it. So yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
There's
well,
a
all
video
right.
I would like you both to break down on a stream, which is an hour long. I'm sorry, Hypocrisy's typing to us.
Yeah, I seen it. I saw it.
Okay. Yeah. He can send it to your email.
Yeah. And
but it was great. Am I going to see you over?
Yeah. I'm gonna go over there, and I'll probably be in the chat. I'll probably be playing some. I got to get something to eat. I may get on the panel for a little bit. Man, I've been chilling all weekend since Friday.
Nice.
And Agon, well, most of the week, I've been listening to actually Agon's stuff, and that's why I posted, his information for his channel in the chat, because I really like the vibe and the energy over there. It's laid back and fun and been great. Oh, Space Cowboy was here. Shalom to you too, man. Shalom.
Yeah, just popped in. I told him shalom. I was about to type. We getting ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up.
And Agon's still going, so I'll probably be over there in probably a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'll be over there getting something to eat and listening in. Maybe I'll get on the panel for a little bit and then get back to chilling here and listening. But like you said, men first. And hey, peace out, everyone.
All right, shalom.